GM, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, the 20th of November, and let's get straight into the charts, starting with Bitcoin. And as we said yesterday, Bitcoin is in this ascending triangle formation, which is a bullish pattern. And we had come up to the top of this triangle yesterday. We tried to get above it. We did briefly. We've came back into it. We've reaccumulated and Bitcoin has currently closed the first 4 hour candle just above it. Of course, we had a wick up yesterday. So what I'd really like to see would be for Bitcoin to close above yesterday's high. And that would be around about this sort of 94,200 level. You can see that we are pushing up at the moment. But I think if we were to close above that level, it would give us hopefully some nice continuation. Price could pick up a bit and head towards the sort of 96, 97,000 area. And I do think if we get this breakout and we see Bitcoin start to consolidate, this is where we might see a bit more action coming into altcoins. We might see Ethereum starting to move. Obviously, Solana's already starting to move, but I think Solana could get up to its all-time highs. So let's see. I think it's probably getting to the point where it's now or never for Bitcoin to break this level. Obviously, if we do come back again, then it could be that we come back down to the bottom side of this triangle. If we lose that, then we might actually see a bit of a flush lower, maybe down to the high 80s. And maybe at that point, we start to reaccumulate again. Obviously, we do have these moving averages on the 4 hour now starting to come up. So they will start to come into play. Obviously, we've got the 100, or sorry, the 50 moving average here. I believe this is the 100 there. And then the green will be the 200. So obviously, the green moving average is still pretty far away, but it looks like the 50 is about to come into play, and the 100 also. We can just see in the past that the price has liked to base off this area around the 100. Obviously, it's been holding the 20 up until this point. So it could be that we come down for one final move and then look to push. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin looks ready here. We did say yesterday we're expecting a push higher, and a new all-time high yesterday. And that is what we did see. So not too much to worry about for me at the moment on Bitcoin. However, you can see here on the chart on the 4 hour, we're going to have a Tom DeMark 9 coming in very, very soon. If we actually look at the last Tom DeMark 9 on this chart, it was actually a red 9. So this is actually a buy indicator. Red 9, hammer candle, coming down below the 20 moving average and a nice reversal. So that was actually the low. So just to kind of show you, these Tom DeMark indicators can work fairly well at times, and this is a pretty good example of that. So let's see, potentially we come up, make the 9, and then we see some consolidation. That is if we get a big push today. I think if we were to get a big push, we'd be looking for that push at today's open. So yes, we're kind of where we are really with Bitcoin, but things are looking encouraging when it comes to some breakout here. If we just look at the daily, we can obviously see we've got this triangle drawn in on the daily. We had a Tom DeMark 9, saw some consolidation. When we kind of see the 2 going above the 1 and the 3 above the 2, this is bullish in terms of Tom DeMark sequential. So potentially we are now on the countdown to the next daily 9, which, like I said, could be higher up here. I'm not expecting 100K just yet, but obviously you never know with Bitcoin. Bitcoin does like to surprise to the upside when it breaks to all-time highs. And obviously looking at the weekly, we've touched upon this Tom DeMark weekly 9, which is the reason why I think at some point, probably later this week, or even from now, we will just get some extended consolidation. Potentially, if we can't push higher, the consolidation comes from this period of time, and potentially we look back down to the high 80s, maybe as 80K as a support level, and then at some point, maybe going into December, we make another try for a push towards the 100K mark. So that's what I'm thinking on Bitcoin. If we just quickly go over to the liquidation heat maps as well, we can just see what this is showing us. Obviously, yesterday we saw a build up, a cluster of liquidations around the $93,000 level, and you can see today that a lot of those liquidations have now moved up. So they're sat, a lot of them are sat This is on the Binance Perpetual over the last day, between 94 and sort of 95,000. So again, if we were to get through that up towards 94 to 95,000 potentially, we then see a run up to around about 96. And just looking at the last 2 days, I expect we'll see something similar. Again, we got to build up to around about 95. Not too much on the downside. If we go and look at the last week, I think we could have some. No, still not too much on the downside. So yeah, I am favoring this push up here to sort of 95, 96,000. Obviously, the liquidation heat maps would support that as well. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Like I say, things are looking fairly good for now. If we take a look at the other majors, so Ethereum, we can see just going down to a daily, Ethereum is consolidating sideways, still above its daily 200 moving average, still above its support, which was previously resistance. So now this should be support around 2,800. So obviously remains to be seen what happens to Ethereum here. But I think if Bitcoin can get that next push, potentially Ethereum could follow and make its way around this sort of 3,800 level is my target for Ethereum between now and the end of the year. So I'm not saying we'll get there straight away. Potentially Bitcoin has to consolidate a bit more and potentially gets a pullback first. So potentially we see Ethereum come down to this 200 daily moving average, and then if Bitcoin takes another leg higher towards 100,000, that's when Ethereum gets its push towards 3,800. And again, I would expect Ethereum to probably lag the move in Bitcoin. So I'd possibly be expecting Bitcoin to be pretty bullish throughout Q4 into the end of this year. Potentially Bitcoin consolidates at a higher level in January, and that's when we see things like Ethereum catch up and a lot of the altcoins catch up. They tend to have their best quarters in Q1, whereas Bitcoin tends to have its best quarter in Q4. So that's Ethereum. Solana here, still remaining strong. Like we said a couple of days ago, we talked about Ethereum coming into this Fibonacci retracement, the 1.618. We also talked about the Tom DeMark weekly 9 candle, which is currently printing also with a reversal candle at the moment, but there's still some time in the week left. So I would think, obviously, Solana will be led by what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin makes another push here, potentially Solana makes a push to 250. I think just going back to the weekly, we can see Solana's all-time highs are coming in here at around sort of the 266 area. So potentially, if Bitcoin pushes up towards 100K, we see another push in Solana, or it might just be a fact that it consolidates for a bit here and then it decides to run with the rest of the altcoin market in Ethereum a little bit later in December, potentially in Q1. And Pepe, we will see Pepe still holding up here. We've talked about potentially it might come back and retest its prior all-time high, or it could be that all of the excitement and the sort of positive news and positive catalysts from listings on Robinhood and Coinbase are making sort of Pepe buyers a little bit more optimistic, and potentially that's putting a premium on the Pepe price now, and we don't actually see this pullback. But again, this will depend largely on what Bitcoin does, and we can see it looks like we're just consolidating. Really, there's not too much to be said. Obviously, we talked about this Tom DeMark daily 9 on Pepe into its 1.618, so a natural area for Pepe to find some resistance and take a bit of a breather. And I wouldn't be surprised, look, if this pullback is already played out or is getting close to being played out. And certainly if Bitcoin can make another push higher, then we could see Pepe have a go at its all-time highs over the next few days. So Pepe looking fine. Just taking a look at the DXY, so dollar, a little bit of strength today. Again, I think we're in an area that we should find some resistance in the dollar over the next few weeks. So yes, we talked about the fact that if the dollar is rallying, sometimes Bitcoin and crypto finds it hard to rally. But in this current period, that does not seem to be the case. It doesn't seem to be too much of a negative factor. However, generally, dollar down, means Bitcoin up. So like I say, if at some point we see the dollar start to roll over, that could be a catalyst for Bitcoin going above 100,000. And look at the S&P. So we talked about at the start of the week, I'm expecting stocks to grind this level out, put a bit of a low in, obviously some retesting going on, and to start to grind their way back to the upside. And that's exactly what they're doing with the S&P. Obviously, the Nasdaq as well has come back down, sort of filled in some inefficiency of these candles, and is now looking to, well, it's poised to make its way back towards its all-time highs. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Just wanted to say, the channel's really starting to see some growth over the last few days in terms of view counts, in terms of more subscribers. So if you are a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not yet subscribed, because I do know about 70% of the viewers of these videos are not subscribed, please do subscribe if you're interested in crypto. If you like this content, you can also comment below if there's different content or more content you want me to see. Maybe there's one of your favorite altcoins that you want me to cover on the daily GM. I can add it to the stream. There's no problem in doing that at all. In terms of other content we've got coming up, there's going to be more meme coin updates. So I want to do an update shortly on some of the Solana meme coins that I've picked, because quite a few of those are on pretty hefty pullbacks right now. So not a bad time to enter some of those if that's something you're interested in. Also, I've got altcoin picks that I'm looking forward to sharing soon. So that'll be coming up very, very shortly as well, because I think, to be honest with you, over the next few weeks and months, altcoins, there should be a lot of rotation from Bitcoin into altcoins. Once Bitcoin kind of reaches a level that it starts to consolidate at, then I really think that we'll start to see some of the altcoins outperform. So yeah, if that sounds like something you're interested in, please do subscribe so you don't miss out. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow. GM.